Hi, welcome back to the farm for 2025. I'm Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. I don't really have any New Year's resolutions. I'm not that kind of reset, start the new year type of person. I have a lot to share between what I did when I finished just before Christmas last year and now, because it's been about 4 weeks, I think. So plenty has happened here on the farm, as well as what we did for Christmas, and lots of knitting, as you can see. So I've got plenty to share, and I've also had some holiday time. So I have been looking at what my knitting plans might be for this year. Not resolutions as such, and nothing like, goals set in stone or whatever, but just because I have been so productive and creative, it's sort of it has sparked me to look at those things, as well as a little bit of cleaning around the house, which has also made me look at my whips. So lots to get through. I'm not sure that I'm going to get to it all today because I feel like this could be quite long and rambly, and I don't want it to be too long. Partly because I'm rusty from haven't recorded in a while, and also rusty in terms of having to edit and get it all done as well. So today might be an update video, and then I'll go into some other things next week. Just after I recorded my last video of 2024, our hay was baled. It had been cut just prior to that, but then they came out at about 5:30 in the evening on a day it had been 40 degrees, and so it was perfect baling weather. It was really still, and the hay was nice and dry, and we were predicted to get some rain in the next few days after that. So they worked through the night under lights, and they got it all baled up, and then we did our count of the paddocks. We all put in a number that we think it's going to get to based on what it was last year and how we thought it was going to be. And Seb and I were the closest to the mark in terms of picking the number of bales this year. Overall, last year we got 170 bales. This year we got 172. So good yield overall, and we're hoping for even better next year. Well, no, this year now. Goodness, 2025. Hello. Because now that the hay has been baled up and the grass is all nice and low, we can see the areas where the hay cutters didn't go because there were some clumps of blackberries. So we've been borrowing the spray rig from our local land care again, and I've been out 4 or 5 times already since the start of January. One day I spent over in the bush and got into quite an area where it had been really thick by the road, and because of spraying by the council and spraying by us, we are now being able to reduce it down to a much smaller area. So I was able to get in and get most of that done. And I've then spent the next few times I've been out in the paddocks here, again, going to the areas where the hay cutter didn't go because there were a few larger clumps of blackberries that they couldn't get into. So really tackling those areas around the waterways and dams, and then doing some spot spraying throughout the paddocks in the problem areas that we know about from previous years. And because it's been cut, the little shoots have now come up because it's been like 5-6 weeks since the hay was cut. So you can really easily see those small areas where they've just shot up bright, fresh green leaves. So we've been spraying all of those. So hopefully we are even reducing that more across the paddocks so that next year we'll have even better hay growth. The sheep are doing really well. They were shorn in December, and they're still looking quite non-woolly at the moment, which is good because we've had a heat wave last week, and we're looking at going into another series of quite hot days over the next few days. So I have let them in to the grass area here by the shed. I've been holding out for as long as possible, but they have eaten down almost everything in their paddock. They do have hay, they have got plenty of hay, but they always go for the grass over the hay as a preference. So I this week, finally, got a couple of extra star pickets and propped up the fence where Vito managed to get himself out. So I've let them in there for a few days. It's already quite depleted. So I'm going to let them enjoy that for a little bit, and then I'm going to lock them back out again, and hopefully maybe even put the sprinkler out there in the evenings for a few days, just to try and get that to not completely die out as well, although everything else is now looking quite dry. Um, so that's the sheep. For Christmas this year, my family again went on a cruise holiday, which was so lovely. I did a complete, more in-depth video last year about cruising at Christmas time. I'll leave a link below to that particular video if you're interested in the details of cruising at Christmas. We went on basically the same cruise that we went on last year. So we went to Hobart, Kangaroo Island, and Port Arthur. I didn't even get off the ship at Port Arthur, and I just got off very briefly at Kangaroo Island just to stretch my legs with Mum. It was a really lovely week. Fun day on Christmas Day, opening up our presents. It's always a little bit weird to be sort of sharing that with strangers in a public place, but we found a nice spot in one of the bar lounges and shared our gift giving, and then had a really nice Christmas dinner. The rest of the time was enjoying the activities of the ship, getting involved in the quizzes and the competitions, and watching other people and enjoying all of the food and drink that's available. And I spent a lot of time knitting, which I will share soon. The weather wasn't particularly nice. It wasn't super hot, and it was quite windy out at sea. The seas weren't rough or anything really. It was quite nice. But I did spend quite a lot of my time sitting inside a window bay in various spots around the ship. There are lots of places to find and choose to do that. And knitting and just watching the world go by, which was really lovely and a really nice break from all of the other things that are going on. While we were away, I put the cats into a cattery for the time. We did have people here coming every day to look after the farm animals and check on everything here, water for the sheep and the chickens and all of that kind of stuff. But we thought, just to take a little bit of the pressure off them, it was easier if the cats went into care somewhere else. I was a little worried. I haven't had them very long, and so they've only known really me and my place. And I've taken Maggie to the vet, and she wasn't all that great with that. But apart from that, like, we really haven't done anything else. So to take them both in the car, I was a little concerned, but they got into their carrier fine, got them there. The place that we took them to, they have these little pens for them, and they were able to be together, which was really great. And they have couches and little hidey holes and all of this kind of stuff. And so I got them into their room and opened up their carrier, and Maggie managed to get herself immediately stuck between the wall and this like mesh shade cloth that they had around. She wasn't going to be able to get out anywhere, but she like crawled up between. Quinn had gone under a couch, that was fine, but I don't know. So, so they had to undo this piece of the wall to be able to get her out. And they said it had never happened before. So, yeah, my cats are special, right? So they didn't get off to a great start, but the place where they were staying were really lovely, and they have this like an app kind of thing where they can give you little updates while you're away. So they send a link to your email address, and it has a little update. You know, Maggie had a snuggle, she had some food, and then it also they upload pictures of what they've been doing. And so, you know, over those next few days while I was away on the cruise, I was getting photos of them snuggling on the couch and really looking like they were enjoying themselves, looking out the window and watching the world go by. So my mind was put at ease, and they seemed to be very unstressed when I picked them up, which was great. And since I've been home, they settled back in straight away. So fabulous, really great care of the cats, which was good. And I'll definitely be booking them in there again for any future holidays. Very stress free after that initial issue with my very special cat, Maggie. First, I'm going to share some purchases that I made, souvenirs from the holiday. Um, and they're not like your traditional, fridge magnet, whatever. They're things that I'm going to be able to keep and remember the holiday by and use all of the time. First, from Kangaroo Island, I found these two really cute little pouches, and they've got those sort of snap tops on them. And I thought these would be really good to put like scissors and stitch markers and a tape measure in, and then be able to pop those into different knitting bags. And they're made by Cape 555 on Kangaroo Island. And they were really reasonably priced. I think they were like $15. Super cute, super well made, and really functional and useful. So got those. Then as I said, I did not get off the ship at Port Arthur. It was a bit of a rainy day that day. And I'd been there before, so I decided to just stay on board. Then in Hobart, we went into town and went to a shop called Red Parker. And I bought this really pretty scarf. It is in the pink mountain berry design. And it's designed by a Tasmanian artist called Stacey Colhern, and it's made from 100% recycled polyester. And the shop Red Parker donates 50% of the profits to charities working to create a better world for people and the planet. And you can go check them out there. But this is a really pretty design that I chose, because I wear scarves like all of the time at work. So I thought that this was a nice option to remember the trip. And then I also went to the Salamanca wool shop, but I decided not to buy any wool. Instead, I got these two sets of stitch markers called Just Knots, and it's handmade by Kim in Tasmania, knotted stitch markers. And I thought by getting like a tealy green set and then a bright coloured set, I could use these for increases and decreases or pattern marks, and then use the different coloured ones for beginning of round or right side, wrong side, things like that. So, and they're super light, so I'm looking forward to using those, but I have kept them in the pack to show you. That was all of the souvenirs that I also bought, which I saw on the ship on the first day and was extremely tempted and decided, no, I'll wait and just, see what happened. I bought a Pandora jumper charm. It was the Christmas special edition. So it's like a Christmas jumper, and on the other side it says, Santa, I'll be good next year. I think that's what it says. So as I said, I saw on the first day in the Pandora shop on the ship. On the last sea day, I went back and I decided that I would buy it. So I'd been umming and ahhing. I thought if it's still there, and I checked the price, and it was cheaper than buying it in the store or buying it online. And I also still had some room credit available that I hadn't used. I'd done a little bit of extra dining, like bought some and a few ice creams, and I'd bought a burger from Luke's Burger Bar, whatever, but I hadn't spent all of the in-room credit that I had. So I thought, well, why not spend it on something that's like souvenir-y? It's a little knitting related. So yeah, it's really lovely, and I'm excited to be able to wear that and keep it as a keepsake from the cruise. And it sort of inspired me. I'm thinking now about looking at other Pandora charms to sort of be reminders and milestones for different things. So I've also added a few other bits to that bracelet that are not Pandora. I've got on there a piece of sea glass that I bought at Kangaroo Island last year, which was on a bookmark, but I think the cat's got to it and pulled it off. But it's still good enough to be able to put onto the charm bracelet, and then I've just got a stitch marker on there as well, which is really pretty. So, yeah, that was my gift to myself. Then, in terms of Christmas gifts, I'm not going to share everything here because it's actually not really about the the gifts and the things. It's about the sharing and the time together with family. The past few years, we've been doing Kris Kringles with each other, and we come up with a theme for that, so that there's a little bit of similarity, fun between all of the gifts. In 2023, we did Had to Be from the Centre Aisle of Aldi. For 2024, we did Needed to Be no larger than a shoebox, and had to be with your first or middle initial. So the person who was getting the gifts had to be for their initials, which was quite fun. So Sebastian was buying for me, and he got me some tea, an R keychain with a tassel on it, and my middle name starts with T, so R and T were the two that he could use. Which then got a little what's the word? Tenuous, I guess. He bought me the Whiskers affirmations, so a little box of cat daily affirmations. Starts with the T. And I did that with a couple of things that I bought for my dad. I actually used a label maker and 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 added something in so that it worked for his initials. So, a little bit of creative license in that. And he got me some tarot cards as well. And then he bought me Roosevelt. Well, he didn't buy me this. What he did buy me was this, a Woobles kit for Roosevelt the moose. But I think he looks more like Roosevelt the reindeer, especially as it was Christmas time. So the kit comes with the Woobles yarn. It comes with the eyes, the needle, crochet hook. It actually starts the first magic ring for you, and then you scan the QR code, and it takes you to a series of videos that are really step by step, like so great in terms of do this and this is what you do here. And they are also designed for right-handers and left-handers. So I hold the crochet hook in my left hand. So I was able to watch a left-handed version of the instructions, which was really fabulous. And I managed to put this together in a day. And this is how he came out. Isn't he cute? Look, there are definitely mistakes, and it was a challenge, let me say, because I'm not a crocheter at all. I can do basic chains up until this point, but here is my little man, so I'm super happy. And I have started a second amigurumi project all of my own, so I can share that with you a little bit later. I have really taken a proper break from passion flower business stuff. I put a notice up in my shop that anything that was ordered between particular dates would be sent later, which was totally fine. And I've not done any dyeing, yarn prep, or anything since my last market of 2024. This past few days, I have just done some bookkeeping stuff, and I have updated my website with the markets that have been confirmed for 2025. So I will leave a link below to those so you can check out when I will be around, and I will be updating that as more events get confirmed. So probably this week, maybe, I don't know. I'm a little bit unmotivated at the moment. I'm just enjoying the whole not doing any kind of like work. So yeah, probably this week I'll start back. I need to tidy up in here a little bit. I did just dump some stuff directly after the market. Um, and I need to kind of get an idea of what I need to dye in terms of colours and bases so that I can start to really prep for markets. But it has been really lovely to take a proper break. The last few years, I've kind of kept going a little bit. And although, I do enjoy it, it is nice to just really stop. And I've been crafting quite a lot and just doing like quite selfish personal crafting, which has been really, really lovely. So, speaking of personal crafting, as you can see, I'm wearing a new finished object. This is actually the second Tolster tee that I made. I'll show you the first one in a minute, but I thought I should probably speak about the one that I've been sitting here wearing the whole time. So this is the second one. I made this one a little shorter than the first, and I started this one while I was on the cruise and finished it not long after we got back. I made it with this is my Bright and Merry Christmas colorway. Then this is the raspberry, which was one of the mini skeins, but I had it dyed up of one full skein, so I used that. Then I found some light blue of my own hand dyed yarn that I had around. Then in between that, I have the Bright and Merry again, and then that is Crush, which was part of the 2024 colorway. Another green that I had in my stash, which again was my yarn. The darker green was Evergreen from the 2024 colors. Another lighter yellow that I had in my stash of my hand-dyed yarn, and then that's limoncello at the bottom from the 2024 Christmas colors. So I did these stripes at the top with the Bright and Merry around the neck and on the sleeves, and also, I'll just stand up for a second if you can see. Then also at the bottom, I just melded all of those colors back in again before doing the Bright and Merry. And it's a little cropped, but not super short. I wasn't sure that I'd have enough of the pink, which is why I did that extra color at the bottom. And I was on the cruise and I didn't want to like cut yarn and do the sleeves and weigh things out. So I just decided to add that color in. And I'm actually glad that I did add the color in. I had enough pink yarn, but I like how it kind of matches back through the whole garment. It is, can I say, super, super comfortable. I love this pattern. And I will definitely be making more. They fit me really well. My only modification was that I added, I think it was 6 extra plain rounds just to give a little bit more depth between the underarm and my shoulder. And that has worked perfectly for me. It doesn't seem to be gapey or anything. Nice under the arms. So super, super happy with this. And it's a perfect day to wear this. It's warm, but it's not too hot. And that's what I was hoping for out of this pattern. So my first one was made out of the special yarn that I got given as a souvenir from when the family went to the US, and I got it from Salem. Well, they got it from Salem. It is, where is it? Not in there, it's down here. It is in the it is in the Queen of Cups colorway by Toil and Trouble Yarns, and they bought it at Circle of Stitches in Salem. And here it is in all of its beautiful glory. I've had it folded already because I've blocked it and washed it, but haven't worn it yet. So this one is slightly bigger than this one. I think my tension changed a little bit, but also I think this yarn is a little bit thicker than my base. And I made this, just got it from my mouth. And I made this one slightly longer. But again, it is the perfect perfect knit t-shirt, and I'm super, super happy. See how good does it look? Okay. Whew, it's getting long, this episode. Um, but I think I will briefly talk about what I'm currently working on. And then next week, I can talk about some plans for stash usage and the kinds of things that I'm hoping to be able to get knit this year. Um, I have, since finishing this and finishing that, so I've been very productive this year already. I have started a new jumper and I've started a new amigurumi project. Um, so I Here's the amigurumi first. Let's go with that. So I'm making a troll. I'll put the pattern details on the screen because I don't have them with me. These marks are for where the ears are going to go, I think. So I've got the head, starts at the top here, and this is now into the body. This is the second time that I got it to this point. The first one, I'd split the yarn quite a lot, and it started off kind of tight, and then it got kind of loose, and then it got kind of tight again, and the proportions were really bad. And look, I could have kept going, and Deb was like, "It's your first go. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just continue." And I'm like, "No, I've got to rip it out. I'm not happy. It's not going to end up being. Wouldn't have sat up by itself. Its head would have flopped down because it was not. The head was way bigger than the body. Um, and also I was actually enjoying the process of it. So I was okay with ripping it out and starting again. I'm just using some very cheap cotton that I got off Temu when I was doing some other shopping. I know, terrible, but you know, I was very tempted, so I got it, and it's a cute color. And I'm not sure what color I'm gonna do the rest of him or her yet. Um, but that is where I am at with my amigurumi. I'm not sure how much more I'm going to do, only because I don't want to end up with little stuffies all over my house. I am really enjoying it though, so I might have to find a way that I can continue to do them and gift them to other people for particular occasions or whatever. So crochet. The next knitting project that I have on the needles is another top, but it's a long sleeve top. I'm thinking more that this is going to be a autumn spring kind of top. It is made using my friend Tessa's yarn. She is Fluff and Nonsense, and this is her Tibetan singles yarn at 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, 15% yak, and they are 120 gram skein, so they're 480 meters per skein, and this colorway is called Sage Advice. Sorry, I just need to get my balls out. No, that's not going to be very good. Let's try this one. Yeah. Sage Advice. So it's a beautiful green, sort of got a little bit of brown tinges through it. And I've had this for quite a while. I bought it at Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show in 2023, I think. I saw it and I was super tempted and I just had to grab it. And she had 3 skeins, so I thought it would be enough to make a top, and I think it's going to be enough for this top. I hope so. I've done the math and I think it's going to work. I'm making the Pescadero by Amy Herzog, and this is the back. Look at the fabric. It is so pretty. Look at that. So this is knit in pieces, clearly, from the bottom up, with some different shaping that I've never done before. And I thought that this would be a really good project for this yarn. So what I've been doing is I've had my stash, showed you this last year. I put my stash into Ravelry. And what I did is I've just been sitting and searching, looking for patterns that match some of my stash yarn, and then putting, like sort of allocating the stash to the project and putting it in my queue. And I've done that with there's a few projects where I might have used this, like allocated the same yarn, and then I can go back and choose which one I'm going to do. But this was pretty much the only project that I found there was almost a perfect match in terms of the yarn composition for the jumper. And it's not that often that I end up using exactly what's called for in the pattern. So I was quite excited to do this particular jumper first. And this was older stash. Some of the other sweater quantities that I have are more recent purchases. So I thought that this should be one that I kind of start with. I'm enjoying this so much. The fabric, it's going to block out. It's going to, like the pattern, it kind of, sits like this. So it's going to block out beautifully. It's got lovely drape. I could have potentially gone up a needle size, but I think that would have made the fabric too open. I really like what I'm getting here. And I'm enjoying the back and forth flat knitting because I've been doing quite a lot of in the round knitting. If I get tired of it, I can always pop a pair of socks on the needles as well. But at the moment, I don't have socks on the needles. Pretty much all I have on the needles is this and the crochet, and I've been switching back and forth between the two. I think I haven't even been working on this for a week, and just look how much I've gotten done already. So holidays and time inside by the air conditioning when it is super hot outside is definitely very conducive to getting a lot of knitting done. So I'm making the most of my motivation and time while I have it. Well, it's been a bit of a longer one this week. Lots to catch up on. So I hope you enjoyed all of the bits and pieces that I've had to share. I'll get back into a bit more of a routine over the next few weeks. And as I said, I would like to share, as I alluded to, that sort of stash plan and what I've been looking at in terms of pattern ideas for the coming year. There will definitely be more of these. Well, I'm going to say definitely because who knows, really. I would like to think that I'll make some more of these because they are definitely super wearable. And off on a complete side note, so I went to my knitting group last night. I was wearing this Tolster tee. Another lady was wearing one that she had knit in black with little like sparkles through it, which looked really great. And another friend was working on a DK version with really thin stripes through another colorway, and they all looked so different, but yet so fabulous. So yeah, there's certainly ways to be able to get creative with this, and so I can imagine being able to wear it over and over. Which, as I talked about in my looking for a summer top video last year, was the point of why I had looked into that and wanted to sort of find a uniform go-to kind of knit top pattern that I could wear and continue to wear over and over, but not look like I was wearing the same thing. Like when you buy a t-shirt, it's the same style, but just different color. So that's what I was going for. All that to say, I think this has been a very long video and I should probably cut it here. Thank you for spending some time with me. I really do appreciate that you watch and comment and interact, and I would love if you would share what you've been working on and how your Christmas has been and what you're planning for the new year. And I'll see you next week on the farm. Bye.